What is up, Bear Nation? It's me, Chris Pinson, here inside the Ozarks Digital Desk Studios, and we got to talk because there is a major issue brewing with the Missouri State football team, and that's the question of what is the long-term health status of quarterback Jacob Clark. We are now 48 hours after he went down in the first half in the team's 5-point loss in their Conference USA opener to Western Kentucky. And when he got hit going for a touchdown on the right sideline late there in the first half, he took an absolute shot, had to be helped off the field, and he never played another snap the entire ballgame. In fact, he was on crutches, and his left leg was in a brace. That right there spells potential long-term disaster for a team that certainly has looked the part that they belong in this conference, that jumping to the FBS has not been an issue, that they do in fact belong and maybe can contend for a Conference USA title this fall. But as of right now, the health status of Jacob Clark is up in the air. So let's go ahead and watch this hit that took Jacob Clark out for that game and possibly a few more or the season. He's rolling right. It was 3rd and goal from the Hilltopper 15. He tries to make a play here going heads up with the defender, and as you can see, he got absolutely leveled in his attempt to try to make a play and get a couple extra yards instead of getting out of bounds. Now, of course, he was woozy, disoriented, probably got the wind knocked out of him, so he had to be helped to the bench. However, this shot here is the one that frightens a lot of Bears fans. He is right there holding the crutch under his right arm with his left leg in a brace, which you can't see, but believe me, he's on crutches and in a brace. And that is one of the worst signs that Coach Beard and his coaching staff and all of Bear Nation could see. I mean, we literally opened Conference USA play Saturday night. It was at home. The Bears had not fulfilled their execution when it came to scoring points, but they were knocking on the doorstep in that first half. And then that happens to Jacob Clark, and he goes out. And believe me when I tell you, that angle that I shot his hit at, that echo, that thunderous echo, the coo of the collision, it was one of the loudest I've heard in a long time. I mean, it was an absolute immovable object and unstoppable force. Just, that's really what it was. And so the surprising thing, though, because I want you to watch this again, the surprising thing is, though, right, his leg is the subject of the injury. Because as you can see here, he's going to get hit shoulder and head, and his left leg wasn't even planted when the contact was made. That was his right leg that was planted on the ground. So again, for his left leg to sustain possibly a major or semi-serious injury that could force him to miss time, I don't understand how it's possible, but that right now is the reality. That Jacob Clark's left leg is in question. And the medical staff and everybody else is trying to figure out what is the severity of the injury. Because 2 years ago, in 2023, this same thing played out. The Bears were in their September schedule, and Clark got hurt at home, and that was a shoulder injury that knocked him out for the entire 2023 season, just 3-4 games into that campaign. Jordan Bachot did a fantastic job filling the shoes of Clark that season, but it certainly did not have the chance to live up to what the Bears did last fall because Clark got knocked out. So with Clark going out against Western Kentucky, that meant that we got introduced to the guy that might be filling the shoes on a more permanent basis. True freshman quarterback Duece Bailey, the kid from Bowling Green, Kentucky, playing against the school from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Western Kentucky here. And you can see he is athletic. He's certainly nowhere near the stature of the 6'5" Jacob Clark. Matter of fact, he's under 6 feet. But look at his athleticism. Look at his ability to escape. Using those dual weapon skills he has with his feet and his arm, he can make a lot of plays downfield that normally Jacob Clark may not make with his feet, or at least doesn't choose to. However, when it comes to the gap of IQ, on-field vision, understanding coverages, understanding the flow, the tempo, how to run that 2-minute offense, Bailey doesn't have as many reps in live games as Jacob Clark, obviously. That gap, that learning curve is going to be Grand Canyon sized, because when you are new to a new level of competition, like most true freshmen are, It's very rare somebody comes in and, plays like a Tim Tebow or a Johnny Football or somebody of that ilk that has blown us away through the years. Not saying Duece ain't got it in him, but I am saying, in general, it's a very, very tough uphill battle for most true freshmen to learn week to week, and the team continue to play at the level it was expected at. So, with Duece being able to have at least one touchdown pass in this game, all right, he was 7 of 16 for 57 yards, and this touchdown pass that, great throw, but come on. Christian Gardner with the more insane one-handed catch that certainly could have been in the SportsCenter top 10. But again, Bailey was 7 of 16 for 57 yards, 1 touchdown, and no turnovers. And on the ground, you saw him move his feet. He ran for 61 yards on 8 carries. So he's got all the ability to do both, run it and throw it. However, do you want him having to do that, all of that, against the competition who may not have tape on him, but certainly with veteran players, they know how to make a true freshman quarterback feel at home in that pocket with the pressures they can bring and the disguises they can use for their defense. So let's talk about what happened in the postgame. With Duece Bailey in this game, playing in the shoes of Jacob Clark, Coach Beard had to answer some questions about Jacob Clark's injury, had to answer questions about Duece Bailey and his play that night and maybe going forward. So here's what I'll tell you. Coach Beard, rightfully so, was close to the vest. He's calling this a lower body extremity or lower extremity issue, and they're trying to figure out what that issue fully is and what that might mean then for his timetable for Jacob Clark's return. However, when it comes to Duece Bailey and his play that night against Western Kentucky and what it might mean down the road for him and more playing time, take a listen.
Duece has earned the right to play through practice, and we keep practice competitive. I know it's in the middle of the season, but we watch every single rep as a staff. We evaluate who gives us the best chance to win, and right now that's Duece Bailey. I was proud of his composure when he came in. The lights weren't too bright. I think we need to do a good job in the following weeks, obviously depending on how Jacob's doing, kind of catering the menu to kind of what he does well and his strengths, and I think he'll continue to get better.
I like what he had to say about that young man, right? Already putting his faith and his hope and maybe the playbook in Duece Bailey's hands a little earlier than we expect. Direct quote from what Coach just said. Duece gives us the best chance to win. I was proud of his composure. The lights weren't too bright. I think we need to do a good job in the following weeks. Obviously, depending on Jacob's status. That preface right there. That right there is the read between the lines comment right there. Kind of got to cater the menu to what he does well and his strengths, and I think he'll continue to get better. That, to me, was the tip of the hat that said, hey, look, without saying it out loud, I'm kind of acknowledging that Duece Bailey is probably going to be playing a whole lot more on Saturdays for the Bears because this injury, being on crutches, brace on your leg, doesn't seem like it's going to be an overnight fix. Doesn't seem like something that taking a pill or an injection or a hot tub, massage, and sauna is going to fix, does it? This, to me, sounds like Duece Bailey is going to have to come in just like Jordan Peugeot did 2 years ago and now run the offense. Only difference is Peugeot is a little more seasoned than Duece Bailey. So now, again, I'm not saying this is the gospel. I don't have confirmation on what Jacob Clark's injury is. I'm truly speculating here that I believe that Duece Bailey is going to see a lot more playing time with the starters from Missouri State. So here the Bears sit at 2-3, possibly with their season hanging in the balance because their 7th-year seasoned veteran quarterback Jacob Clark might have sustained a major leg injury. That could keep him out for a week, a couple weeks, a month or more. I don't know. But again, the signs to me of crutches and a brace do not signal a positive, swift return. So if Duece Bailey is that guy, if he's the one that Coach believes gives the team the best chance to win, you will see Coach Nick Petrino, the offensive coordinator, dial this thing up and really try to keep everything simple, which is good because that means he may not be overcome by, too much of the new defense he's going to face and he's going to have to watch and figure out. Same time, though, keeping it simple means the defense also doesn't have to worry that much about playing against a lot of trickeration or a few stunts or progressive things that a senior or veteran quarterback with that IQ would have. So Bears fans, hold on your hats, because by this Friday at the presser, we are going to find out potentially what Jacob Clark's status is. Again, maybe it won't be, because Coach Beard might have some gamesmanship and make his next opponent, the Middle Tennessee State boys, figure out if they're running one or two quarterbacks out there. But either way, right now, it does not look great for Jacob Clark's long-term status or early return status for the Bears. But I'll keep you posted here more with Ozarks First Digital